we'd like to welcome David and the Circumstances and Alana Saab. Alana is joining us from New York and will be reading one of her writings. She's a spoken word performer, writer, and one of our teaching artists. Alana has been guiding participants through transformative writing exercises for the past 2 virtual cycles, and we're so excited she's sharing her work with us today. David is joining us from the Netherlands to share some of his music. He's a critically recognized singer-songwriter who participated at our first virtual showcase in May. We're so glad he's joining us again. Just a note, if you don't have headphones on right now, we really recommend you put them on now because you'll get the best possible experience that way. And now David and the Circumstances.
Thank you, Catherine. First song I'm gonna play for you guys is a song by Mike Scott. The other songs I'm playing are my own, but I wanted to do this cover today because I think it's fitting for the occasion. It's called "Bring 'Em All In." Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring the little fishes, bring the sharks, bring 'em from the brightness, bring 'em from the dark. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em from the cavern, bring 'em from the heights, bring 'em from the shadows, stand them in the light, and bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em out of Purda, bring 'em out of store, bring 'em out of hiding, lay 'em at my door. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em all in, 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 bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring the unforgiven, bring the unredeemed, bring the lost and nameless, let 'em all be seen. Bring 'em out of exile, bring 'em out of sleep, bring 'em to the portal, lay 'em at my feet. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all into my heart. Bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, bring 'em all in, Thank you. I can see you waving your hands. That's nice. Thank you. So I'm gonna do one more. This is Time Moves On, and then we'll hear Alana's spoken word after me. So thank you for listening. On a day in a field in the month of May, every bloom turning with the sun as time moves on. Every day a train arrives at the station near the mill. A mother waves her son goodbye. Her work is done, a trip's begun, and time moves on. On the train, some sit and wait, some work, some spin their gun. We get to see the track we left, but not the track we're on. The engine roars, downhill we run, and time moves on. A sunny day, we passed a lake, a mirror for the sky. You and I are holding hands, blinded by the light. I know you won't be here for long. Time moves on. Muted sounds are underground, someone heaves a sigh. Gaps between the lines of time as lights are flashing by. A moment's here, the next it's gone. Time moves on. Late at night, I fall asleep. From the hall I take the stairs, and from the roof at the break of dawn I see the world where I begun. A fearless kid, fierce and strong. I look inside, find the webs I've spun, all those lives I've left undone. Then I blink my eyes, the kid is gone, but I am here in the morning sun as time moves on. Then I'm holding still. We return to the mill. There's a bird hanging still in the sky. There's a clock on the wall, but its movement has stalled. There's no time, now it's done. I am here. It's just one line you're on. It's just one line you're on. What you are, you'll become as time moves on. Thank you.
Thank you, David. If everyone just wants to take a deep breath with me for a moment and just really take in that song, it was absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me here, there, and everywhere. When I was asked to read, I thought I would go my normal route and read some poetry, but this short story I had written a while ago was actually kind of begging to be read. And so it's definitely too long to read the whole thing. It would take me about 2 hours, but I do want to read an excerpt. I'll read the first paragraph just to get you into the story, and then I'm going to skip to the end and read from there. So, to fill in the blanks so you're not completely lost, this short story is called Philosophy. And it's about a girl who's 18 who's going to school in New York. And she meets a man who she calls the Infinite Man. And he's a man that sweeps her off her feet because he kind of expands her mind. He makes her think differently and see the world differently. And she's really wrapped up in him. And they move in together pretty quickly, and they decide to create their own world together. And they call this world the garden. So their apartment in the story kind of metaphorically becomes this garden. And everything is going great, but soon she becomes isolated from her friends, from her family, because she's so swept up in this world that they're creating together. And soon after that, the world starts to become very dark. There's a lot of anger in it, there's a lot of sadness in it, and it's a very hard place for her to be and also for him to be. So the garden essentially starts rotting, but she's stuck in it and she doesn't know how to get out, and she also doesn't want to get out because she loves this man. Now, the part that I'm going to jump to towards the end happens right after there's a day where she wakes up and she can feel this feeling of happiness that she hasn't known in a very long time. She goes to school that day. She talks to her mom on the phone. She sees her friends, and she can feel something in herself coming alive again, something that died during this relationship and during this building of the garden. And so she comes home and wants to tell the Infinite Man about, hey, I think we're okay. I think the world is okay. And he's very much stuck in his sadness. And he goes to sleep that night and doesn't see the happiness that she saw. And so then I'll start reading from there. So this is the first paragraph first. It's the intro. And then there was that one, and together our world. I'll call him the Infinite Man. The Infinite Man was a beautiful figment of my distorted reality, dressed in a leather jacket. On an October night, he came unexpectedly into my prescribed life. For months, while he listened to my ever-changing thoughts, I watched him draw the history of an ever-expanding universe. I dug for answers within him, and he willingly let me shovel into the soil of his garden mind. Without him, I would have never learned the secrets behind a perfect smirk and carefully carved cheekbones. Without him, I probably would have stayed stuck in a world much simpler than this one. The infinite man was magic, and I loved him like metaphor. I can't pretend like he didn't exist. So now I'm going to skip to the end. That evening, the man was sleeping soundly for the first time and fall asleep. It was as if sleep was refusing my entrance into its world, trapping me in the reality I had created. As the wind whipped against the window, making a whistling sound through the barely visible cracks, I felt the garden calling me. Not knowing what I was doing, I crawled out of bed and went to the closet. Kneeling on the ground, my hands moved in the darkness of the closet floor. I found myself removing the infinite man's box of Polaroids. The first thing I saw when I opened the lid of the box was the photo of the two of us from the day we'd met, a time that existed over a year ago now. I looked at our faces. Neither of our eyes were focused on the lens, but instead were fixated on one another, immovable and unshakable. Trying to understand why the garden had brought me here to our younger days, I removed the image from the box to stare closer at the happiness we once knew, the love we once felt for each other and the world. It was then in the photograph of what I knew to be our happiest days, the ones that felt so full of love and wonder, that I saw neither love nor wonder nor happiness. Instead, I saw a desperate aching in my eyes and the way his mirrored mine. I had always believed that when we'd first met, the infinite man and I were content, pure, that all was right in the world and in our minds. But what I saw in the photograph was a girl in agony, a girl who was simply searching for a sedative, mourning the loss of the woman she loved, of the mother and father who never stopped fighting. Suddenly, the whole world that we built felt false. I sat there on the floor weeping and stared at the photo. I fished into my mind for an explanation, but I couldn't find one. I asked myself, how could someone love through so much sadness? Suddenly, the answer came to me, crashing into my mind with the force of a collision of galaxies. I knew then what I had to do. I knew that I had to leave. Quietly, as to not wake him, I packed my belongings into 2 suitcases. I took the journals and books that sat beneath the futon. I took my sweaters and my jeans, my underclothes and outerwear. When I finished gathering my things and placing them beside the front door, I looked at him lying there asleep in bed. His lips were peculiarly pursed into the slightest smirk. A year and a half ago, I had fallen in love with that curve of his lips on a warm October night. It was then that I realized how I missed his smile more than anything in the world, more than even my own. It made me want to stay. But I couldn't. I couldn't because I knew that his smile would be gone by morning, that when the sun came up, it would be replaced with a sadness that I could not cure no matter how much I wanted to. The only way I knew how to save him, to save us, was to leave. In that moment, I prayed for the first time in a long time. I prayed that he would forever look as content with the world as he did at that moment. When I finished praying, I knew that it was time to leave. I placed a photograph of us on his nightstand. Then, in order to go, I had to look away from him. And despite what he may think, this was the hardest thing I ever had to do, to turn away from the person that I loved but couldn't be with. As I tore my eyes away from him, the air in the apartment went cold, and the birds in the garden stopped singing. Even the city outside went silent. No sirens, no fans spinning in circles, no pencil scratching on paper. Simply nothingness. And in that nothingness, I couldn't even hear my heart beating anymore. You see, this is the sound that ensues upon the destruction of a world. And in that non-sound, in that nothingness, I left. This is the part where the infinite man may have begun to think that I was the devil or a parasite in his garden. Perhaps he still thinks this, though I'm not sure. We haven't spoken in years. When I left that day, I knew what would happen in the morning. I knew that when he woke to find my body missing, his world would shatter and the garden would flood. Oceans would crash endlessly against his skin, forming lakes and ponds across his body. Continents would turn into hundreds of daggered masses, and I would no longer be there to pick the glass out from his skin, to tell him that the world didn't mean to hurt him, not again, not ever. Yes, All of this was true. But he had watched me heal him so many times that I hope by now he knew how to heal himself. Moreover, I hoped that I knew how to heal myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Alana. That was beautiful. I'm gonna do a song that I just recorded. I'm actually still working on the recording, so it doesn't really have a title yet. So, it seems our world's about to change from dark to darkness, a new religion we've embraced on a whim. But now these curtains slowly part, we see the numbers, an old idea we know its cause, but facts don't win. We've got the ocean on the rise, the ice is falling, no one seems to know a way to face this wave we can't outrun. Done, it's done, done. Today my world was about to fade from dark to darkness. I fought the winds of change with hate, but I couldn't win. Now these curtains slowly part, and I feel this hunger, a calling from the past. I'll shed my skin, 'cause now's the time to learn. As my old self crumbles, I might just have to face this wave I can't outrun. Done, it's done, done. To follow my own heart more than ever, till these bridges fall apart. I'll shed my skin. Oh, and will we ever learn? There's no God above us. He's in the soil and in the ways, the million ways that we are one. One, one, one. Thank you. I just need to quickly retune from this weird tuning I just used. It's just one string. It should be okay now. Sorry for the hassle. Okay. I don't want to play my songs for you in a detuned guitar either. So the last song I'm gonna play for you is called Is it not you? Is it sunlight? Is it moonlight? Is it changing? Is it outside? Is it inside? Does it dance? Is it talking? Is it crawling? Is it shaking? Is it not you? Is it not you in the end? Does it go round? Does it slow down when it's worn out? Does it need you? Does it need you to pretend? Does it want you? Does it love you? Does it move you? Or is it not you? Is it not you in the end? When you wake up by the seaside, does it answer to these questions that you wrote down in the sand? Do you hear it in these waves that all come crashing to show that waves are made of water in the end? Is it one time? Is it this time? Does it need time? Oh, when you find it, can you name it or understand that it's here now, but it's somehow not what's changing? Ain't this what you will return to in the end? Ain't this what you will return to in the end? Thank you all for sharing, for coming to the event, and see you next time, hopefully. when your soul grows pale and dry, when your thoughts obscure all you try to prove, when you can't come down to earth, and when you can't deny all your eyes can see, so you put your trust in lies. I'll be reminding you of all that you can never lose, 'cause when you're lost, I see the light in you. I see your demon too. You try so hard to lose, but when you're lost, I see the light in you. But there's a demon too. You'll need to walk with all you can't accept, all you turn to, all you judge by wrong and right. At the surface might appear as truth, but it's only absent light. And I won't take this weight, I won't hear your calls, I won't hear your lies, 'cause when you're lost, I see the light in you. I see your demon too. You try so hard to lose, but when you're lost, I see the light in you. But there's a demon too. He'll need to walk with you. He'll need to walk with He'll need to walk with you. He'll need to walk with you. He'll need to walk with you. He'll need to walk Thank you.